Buffalo Mafia Wire. Bills fans, buckle up, because this is the kind of rumor that can light a spark under an already dangerous team. The Buffalo Bills, sitting at 4-0 and very much in the driver's seat of the AFC East, are reportedly exploring a move that could add even more explosiveness to their offense and special teams. According to multiple reports, including Times of India and Saints Wire, the Bills have been linked to New Orleans Saints wide receiver Rashid Shaheed ahead of the November 4 trade deadline. And if you don't know who Shaheed is yet, you might want to start paying attention, because this kid could fit into Buffalo like a hand in a glove. Let's start with the player himself. Rashid Shaheed has quietly become one of the most dynamic all-around playmakers in the league. At just 26 years old, he's built a reputation as a two-phase threat, a player who can beat you deep on offense and break your back on special teams. Through 4 games this season, he's racked up over 750 punt return yards with 2 touchdowns and added nearly 900 yards on kick returns. Those are all pro caliber numbers, and yes, he's already earned those honors. Shaheed's not just fast, he's efficient, fearless, and disciplined, the kind of player who can turn a 5-yard slant into a 50-yard highlight. Now imagine that kind of speed in Buffalo's system. Josh Allen, one of the most powerful arms in the NFL, has been operating without a true burner since the departure of Stephon Diggs. Khalil Shakir has shown flashes, rookie Keon Coleman is finding his rhythm, and tight ends Dalton Kincaid and Dawson Knox are steady in the middle. But what Allen doesn't have right now is that pure field stretcher who can blow the top off defenses and create space underneath. Rashid Shaheed could be that missing piece. Shaheed isn't just a receiver, he's a weapon. He lines up in the slot, outside, in motion, and even out of the backfield on design touches. He's a matchup nightmare because he's too quick for linebackers, too shifty for corners, and too balanced for safeties to read. What makes him especially valuable to Buffalo is that he's not a one-dimensional deep threat. He's a tactician. He sets up defenders, manipulates leverage, and turns broken plays into momentum swings. Let's not forget the context here. Buffalo's return game has been inconsistent all season. The punt return unit ranks in the bottom half of the league, and kickoff returns have lacked explosiveness since Nyheim Hines' injury. Adding Rashid Shaheed instantly solves that issue. We're talking about an all-pro returner who can flip field position, create instant scoring chances, and make opponents think twice before punting anywhere near him. In the playoffs, where every yard matters, that's not a luxury, it's a weapon. So what would it take? The rumor says a 2026 third-round pick. Reasonable, right? Sure, Brandon Beane has struck gold in those rounds before. Guys like Dawson Knox, Devin Singletary, and Spencer Brown came out of that range. But Shaheed isn't a developmental pick. He's a proven commodity who walks in and immediately changes 2 phases of the game. That's value. You can replace a draft pick. You can't replace rare speed and veteran confidence. Shaheed's also in the final year of his contract, which means he's motivated to prove his worth heading into 2026 free agency. If Buffalo brings him in and he clicks with Allen, the front office could lock him down long-term and stabilize that receiver room for the next 3 years. Look around the AFC right now. Kansas City struggling for downfield separation. Miami is built entirely on speed, and Cincinnati is 1 injury away from collapse. The Bills could balance both worlds, physicality and pace. Shaheed brings that second layer, the kind that makes defensive coordinators lose sleep. Another fascinating detail? Bills quarterbacks coach Ronald Curry worked with Shaheed back in New Orleans. That connection matters. Curry knows his personality, his preparation habits, and his skill set, which means if this trade happens, Shaheed wouldn't be starting from zero. He'd have someone in-house vouching for his character and guiding his integration. That makes the transition smooth, fast, and impactful. Buffalo wouldn't have to wait weeks for him to learn the playbook. They could start plugging him into motion packages and special teams right away. If you've watched how the Saints have used him, you know he's criminally underutilized. In an 0-4 New Orleans team that's struggling for identity, Shaheed's playmaking often gets lost behind predictable offensive calls. But in Buffalo, in a system that loves creative spacing, designed motion, and deep timing routes, he'd thrive. He'd finally be in an environment where his skill set is maximized and his numbers could explode. Let's add a layer of realism here. The Bills have tried this type of move before. Last year, they traded for Amari Cooper, which gave mixed results. Cooper brought production, but not dynamism. Shaheed, on the other hand, is youth, speed, and upside wrapped in one package. He doesn't replace Stefon Diggs' volume, but he gives Buffalo something they haven't had since early Isaiah McKenzie, a game-changing spark plug. The difference is Shaheed's doing it at an all-pro level. If you talk to scouts, they'll tell you that Shaheed's best trait is his balance at full speed. He doesn't just run fast, he plays under control. That means he can adjust to Allen's deep balls, something few receivers have been able to do consistently. And let's be real, when Josh Allen has a guy who can separate vertically, this offense becomes nearly unstoppable. The spacing improves, the intermediate game opens up, and defenses are forced into lighter boxes, which helps James Cook and the running game thrive. That's the domino effect one trade could bring. Analysts have compared Shaheed to players like Detroit's Jameson Williams, who signed an $80 million deal this offseason. But Shaheed's value is even higher because of his versatility. Williams doesn't return punts or kicks. Shaheed does both. That's two roles filled with one roster spot, freeing up space for Bean to reinforce depth elsewhere. From a cap perspective, Shaheed's contract year actually helps Buffalo. He's cheap now, and if he performs, the Bills could structure an extension smartly, paying him when the cap expands in 2026. But let's talk about the bigger picture. This isn't just about adding a fast receiver. It's about giving Josh Allen confidence. Every time Josh Allen drops back, he's had to make magic on his own, extending plays and absorbing pressure. With Shaheed in the mix, defenses have to back off, respect the deep threat, and commit an extra safety. That extra second of breathing room is all Allen needs to make magic look routine again. This move isn't just strategic, it's psychological. It tells your franchise quarterback, we're all in with you. And don't underestimate what this would do to the locker room. Buffalo's veterans love guys who grind, who don't need the spotlight to produce. Shaheed's story is pure grit, an undrafted player who carved his way into the league through work ethic and special teams excellence. That resonates in a blue-collar city like Buffalo. He's a culture fit. He's humble, disciplined, and fearless, the exact kind of personality Sean McDermott builds his locker room around. And the timing couldn't be better. The Bills are riding high, but everyone knows a mid-season addition can inject new life into a contender. Look at what Emmanuel Sanders did in 2021. Look at what Odell Beckham Jr. did for the Rams that same season. Shaheed could be that spark, a reminder to the rest of the NFL that Buffalo's not just chasing wins, they're chasing hardware. And let's not overlook how this trade lines up with Brandon Beane's history. He's never shied away from bold moves. Diggs in 2020, Von Miller in 2022, Amari Cooper in 2024. He swings big when he believes the window is open. And with Josh Allen in his prime, that window is wide open right now. Bringing in Rashid Shaheed would be another calculated strike from a GM who understands that championships aren't won by playing scared. At the end of the day, if you're asking whether this trade makes sense for Buffalo, the answer is simple. Absolutely. Shaheed fills multiple needs at once: deep threat, return game, offensive weapon, locker room boost, and he does it without breaking the future. The Saints need picks, the Bills need speed, and the timing aligns perfectly. It's a deal that checks every box. So Bills Mafia, here's the question for you. Should Brandon Beane pull the trigger? Is Rashid Shaheed the missing piece that takes Josh Allen and this offense from dangerous to unstoppable? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Tell me how you see him fitting in. Slot, returner, gadget role, or full-time starter? And while you're here, hit that like button, subscribe to Bills Mafia Wire, and join the conversation that keeps Buffalo's heart beating loud across the league. Because this story, this rumor, this possibility, it's exactly what makes football electric. And if it happens, trust me, the AFC will feel that shockwave all the way to January.